Hello, anybody who's here. Thank you for watching. This is my first live drawing session, so I'm gonna be drawing live for the first time. I don't know how well this is gonna go, or if anybody's gonna watch. But yeah, anybody who comes in, this is the live session. So what you can expect to see is me draw. I already have a drawing that I set up already. This is a little preliminary sketch. I've imported it into Autodesk Sketchbook. So I'm going to use that to do like the basic colors and inking and all that. So yeah, shout out to anybody who has joined or is planning to join. I am as nervous as can be. Okay, the brightness. Turn it up. Off. Done. We got 30% left. Let's put it on charge then. All right. So first things first, I'm gonna create a new layer and then start sketching away, inching away, inking. I said inching. Okay. Okay. I wish I could play. I don't know if I'm allowed to play music during these things, so I don't want to risk it while playing any music. I know nobody's in here, but I'll save the video for like viewing after in case anybody ever wants to watch it. You know, maybe I'll get lucky one day and then like people actually watch these videos and actually like them. You know, sometimes I get a few people in on Instagram to watch some of these. I didn't make any prior announcement that I was going live or anything, so I mean that could always be a reason why. Though I mean I'm relatively unknown at the moment, so basically this is like a fight scene composition. I'm basically guessing what I was thinking during the day that I drew this. I have to go back and then sometimes you got to go back and dive deep and then think of what you were really thinking composition wise. So I'm just gonna ink based on what I thought I was putting down. The clearer your sketches, the clearer you will always have inking wise, because like then you know exactly what you were trying to do. Right, I'm basically just guessing that this is what I was thinking. Okay, let me see. I'm sure this isn't even how I envisioned the earring, but I think it's a cool design to just try something new. Okay. I just finished another sketch and then I was like, you know what? I haven't been live on YouTube before, ever. At least not to my knowledge. So I decided to say, hey, fuck it, let's go live. I hope that cussing doesn't get me in trouble. F it. Let's go live and then do something and just, this is a pretty complex. I'm gonna have to correct that, but I'll do the corrections after I've done like all the basic like lines and ideas, and then I can sit down and be like, yo, let me correct this, let me correct that. Sometimes I just go with the flow. Or as we say in Ghana, vibes and inshallah. Okay. Let me do it this way instead. Okay, so that's the handle. So I could just, instead of just making it like that, so I give it the texture. I wonder how people get to mass audiences with these lives like this. But I mean, this is just a test run, and let's see how it goes. I'm still finding my niche on YouTube. What I can do sustainably. But when it comes to like what I like to do, it's to draw. And hopefully, somebody out there is gonna be like, hey, you're really good. Let me support you. Because finding support as an artist, that is a different kind of struggle. Okay, so I've got to couple people that ended up following me and for some of the YouTube shorts I did. And also a lot of people that unfollowed when they saw certain things. What's going on? Why is it asking that? All right, let's go. It just asked me if I wanted to leave the site. I think maybe I might be accidentally. All right. Nope, it's not that. So let's go. I don't have a proper table yet, so if you're wondering why I'm drawing on a keyboard, this is the laptop on my table. So yeah, I could have moved it, but it's like the table is narrow as is. Okay. Okay. I have a couple books that I'm trying to illustrate soon for release. Who knows? Maybe that'll come out sooner rather than later. Depends on the situation. Oh, the story came out pretty good. All right, I'll come back and then I'll do the lines for the water soon as well. Or I might just ink the water lines and then put color in there so that it blocks it out. That way I can preserve some of the lines underneath. One thing about drawing is the strategy that you use to, like digitally. Same thing with traditional. But the strategy is totally different with traditional and versus traditional versus what do you call it, digital. With digital, you have to strategize based on uh, the layers and how you want to color it. How do you want to block out these colors? Because there's a lot of selections and stuff that you're going to be doing, and that affects the composition and your workflow. Whereas with traditional art, you're going to be strategizing, like you will block out colors, but in a different, more traditional way. And you have to consider the fact that depending on the medium you're using, you're not going to be able to erase or undo anything, as opposed to. So let me use a tool. This is a good time to also showcase some of the tools. So I'm going to use a shape tool. And then I'm going to use that shape tool. Okay. Okay. I'm not even big on the tools like that, but I'm starting to use Sketchbook as a pro. If you saw what I did there, then you saw what I did there. So like these tools have always been there, but I never took advantage of the tools until like later on. Okay. So we have the sword. The sword is at an angle. I don't want to freestyle that. I just want to get that sharp line. So I'm using, if I don't know if you can see the this tool right here. It's like a French curve. If you've ever used that tool before. So I'm going to use that to create the curve. And because it's the sword, the back of it has like a little bit of a flat profile to it. So We do it the second time. Boom. And then okay. Okay. All right. I wanna let me delete this. Erase this just a little bit. Oh shit! I've been doing this on the wrong layer. How did that even happen? Okay. Well, there's a way around that. Okay. Okay. Nope. Okay. All right. Let me see what I got. I did it on. This is why planning on the right layer is the best thing, and also this is why. We'll close all that. Uh, okay. I hope that update comes to. This is why I like to fade out the sketch just a little bit sometimes, because that helps with some of the problems I have sometimes. Okay, good. This is locked. Oh, there we go. Get the tool again. Excuse me if you hear like any strange noises. I have a very bad cold right now. All right. I was gonna do a video. Um, Sketchbook, Autodesk. They released a nice update for the iPad version of this app. Unfortunately, that is not out on Android yet. So anybody who uses this app and like knows the ins and outs will tell you that there's a lot of features that are missing from this that doesn't make it very robust, like alpha locks and certain brushes and just stuff like that. So if you compare it to something like Fresco, or when I say Fresco, I mean Adobe Fresco, or you compare it to something like, what do you call it? Make sure that this is okay. That means I need to use the French curve one more time. That's, they just call it curve ruler in this app. Okay, so yeah, so what was I saying? I was saying that if you compare it to um, something like Procreate or Adobe Fresco, it's missing a lot of features that some people need or like must have for certain types of artists. It depends on what kind of artist you are. So if your workflow you really need a lot of features and a very robust library of certain things, and even the ability to name your layers is not in this yet. Okay, so let's see. Boom. So we've got the character like so. Okay. So, oh shit. Okay, so there's no means by which you can name your layer at the moment. So for some people, that's really a big deal for some people. You know, it might not be as big of a deal for others. Depends on what kind of artist you are, and I hope I'm getting the strokes for this right. Well, I'll recheck later. Uh, okay. So there's, sometimes even after drawing in Sketchbook, I find myself going to like Procreate. So like I'll just export the PSD from Sketchbook and then put it in Procreate. And sometimes, like, because there's just a general lack of certain things, like certain kinds of brushes and certain effects and stuff. This you can't even blur with this yet. So far as my knowledge is concerned, there's no blur, like Gaussian blur at least. And for some people, that's like really necessary. Okay. So we're gonna have to doing this without any references. So if the faces look kind of wonky, okay, nah. Let me get a reference. Sit tight. Let's get a reference for the face. Sometimes, some people are good at coming up with things on the fly. Other people are not. Sometimes you just need a little inspiration. Okay. All right, bet. We've got a reference, but at an angle. So I'm gonna just use this reference from. Okay. 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 I think it works. I don't need it to be perfect, just good enough. Besides, I can always come back and redraw another face. It's not really too big of a deal. So, because of the, it's got a little afro puffs on the sides. I'm not really good with the names of the hairstyles. All right, so okay, I'm gonna do like hair nets, right? Like not hair nets, but hair ties. Okay. Yeah, so the pose was never perfect, but hey, we're taking it the way it is, man. If it needs to be perfected on later, then we will do that. So let me keep it this way for later. Okay. There's a lot of movement going on. This arm is way too long, but the exaggerated look is actually part of the style. So hopefully it works. You know, but like I said earlier, we you just overview it and see if that works in the long run. Okay. This is a type of African sword from Ghana. I come from that. It's a type of sword that we used to use back in the old days. I don't know if the shape is. Let's go back to the French curve. I keep calling it French curve. Some people call it something else, but it's a French curve, bro. Okay. Boom. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, the way it is, it's probably not. Because the way it's curving and bending back, I don't know. It's not really the most realistic shape, but I just like the boom, look of it. Okay, there we go. So we're going to keep it that way for the meantime. And then let me shade out this place. Okay. Phew. Oh, man. Okay. All right, let me add the shading. Let me. Oh, her arm. Forgot. I was a little too impatient there. Okay. So in this, I'm not using a style that I usually draw everything. Like I usually just ink everything together, but this time around, I'm gonna try and block like do a layer for the effects or whatever you want to call it, like the debris, water, and all that stuff that is actually in this composition, and like block it out. So I'll do like the principal shading and stuff in the next layer, and then the debris in a layer on top, and ink that, and then I'll block each of those out individually. So let's do the shading next, and another layer. So one more layer. I did a little bit of the shading under, but I just want to do like most of it now, and try and just get a feel for the textures. And so she's wielding lightning and as her powers. So I'm gonna use more like harsh shadows for her in this. My shadowing, like my shading is not like perfect or nothing. I'm just gonna go with the flow and whatever feels right. You know what I mean? So like longer shadows, darker shadows, and then shit. I've been sick for like a few days now, so I've been coughing and wheezing and shit. And on the boots, the same thing. It was not even supposed to be boots. It was supposed to be something else, but I'll just keep it as boots for the time being. I don't know what it was supposed to be. I forgot because I only did like a rough sketch of this. It just came out of the blue. Just like shade under the foot and darken it. Boom. You know what she's wearing? I don't even know. All right, so let's make. So we're gonna use more hatching for him, and then I'll use some stippling and stuff. So to ruggedize his look, just like some hatching for the beard. I already had some of the textures underlined on the what's called paper, so I'll just use some of the textures from that. And just kind of like hatch along with it. Oh, I don't think shit. There was a microphone in there, so I don't think anybody could probably hear what I was saying for most of the part. So yeah, that sucks. So just gonna use more hatches and stuff to give him a more ruggedized kind of look. You know, older gentleman, more trained, you know. Okay. Okay. We're about 40 minutes in, man, on this first live. Oh, wow. These fans on this laptop, man, they ramp up so quick. I don't know if I didn't know that going live on a laptop would be so taxing to the CPU because it's just ramping up, man. But on mobile, it handles it like a champ. I don't know if it's maybe pushing out more quality or something. I doubt it though. I haven't done a mobile review in a long time. Actually, I planned on doing one. Oh shit! So you see that I missed part of the beard in the previous layer. Let me do the outline for that in the layer below. You just hop back in here and then add the little hatches that are on there. I used to want to do just like mobile reviews and stuff. I still want to, but I'm sure there's some people that want me to because of some of the older videos. But it's just like I had so many other things going on. Anyway, it's never too late. Let's give him a scar on the shoulder, just to give him that like stereo battle scar of an older protagonist, antagonist. I don't know, of an older character. So it's just a bit of a scar. And there you go. Okay. Boom. And then this, because I do remember that I wanted to recognize the hands just a little bit. Okay. And then define the triceps and the bicep. So this dude is like basically a strong master of the arts type of character. You know what I'm saying? Like Genghis type of stuff. I guess I didn't have so many fights in the series of Bleach, but he was an imposing figure. Okay, there you go. That makes it have more like depth to it. So people aren't gonna question how what like position his arm isn't too much because I'm not trying to do all that. All right, so there you go with that. Now let's use this little dot brush. It's called the shapes. It's these little dots. It adds nice little textures like stippling. If you know your shading, you know what stippling is. And boy, oh boy, does it come in clutch if you want to just add some texture to a character or like just some extra shading. It's just nice and quick. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's have a look at the layer. So this is what we got right now. Not bad. So what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna now get the shapes, like the little water and all that, because that is also important. This time I'm gonna try something different. I might just do the color of the shape first, or I don't know. So let's do water, then I'll do the outline of the water afterwards. Or I could do the isn't this a doozy? Let's do the outlines just to be on the safer side. So let's do electricity first. So that's around her blade. Or should I just do it as yeah, let's instead of doing it that way. The thing is I might just I don't know, I'm confused, bro. Alright, you know what? Let's decrease the size and then let's just go for it, bro. If you're gonna block it out, make sure you keep the lines intact so that okay. 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 And then the lightning that comes over like that's in between her hands. So I'll just do this as well. thing about the outlines is that it might clash with some of the stuff we've drawn. So I don't know. Well, that's always a risk. So you got the lightning. Oh yes, I forgot another detail. Shit. So his sword has a chain on it. I should go back to that first layer. We just add the chain, the big old chain. Boom shakalaka. Yes, it doesn't really conflict much with the. I just need to make sure I get certain things done. You know what? The rest of the stuff we'll just use color just to be on just to see. So this is the spark where the blades hit. So we're going to just do that. When it comes to these types of things, you're just always going to be um, guessing, basically. This is another spark where her feet hits her sword, so she's using the momentum of her foot to hit the her sword to like try and cut him. And again, same thing. There are easier ways to do what I'm doing, obviously, but then, well, sometimes it's more fun to do it my way. All right, so let's go into the layer I did before. And just can I select? I can select. I can select. And I'm gonna go back in here, and I'm gonna fill that in. Boom shakalaka. Now I'm gonna fill this in as well. I'm gonna boom shakalaka that one as well. Yeah. So I'm still gonna do the outline then, because I like it better with it. So I'll just outline what we got. This, boom, boom. Smooth out the lines a little bit. Ugh. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so we got the lightning in here. There's extra lightning, I think, some elsewhere in the drawing. Let's see if okay. Let's see how we can if we can block this out with white. Okay, so it's not really. Let me try some other thing. Let me see something. Okay, so let me remove, let me erase that over here. Okay, let me erase. What's this? The selection to here. So not just here. Cool. It's not the best, but I just will need to block out some parts of it. I don't, personally speaking, I don't know any mobile app that's really great when it comes to selections as compared to something like Photoshop. So what I'm attempting to do is just like block out the background so I can distinguish between the characters and then some of the other stuff because we have so many other elements to work with in the piece so that it's like, yeah, it can get cumbersome sometimes. Change the tolerance. Let me see. Okay, so the reason why is because sometimes you always want to make sure your lines are touching together so that you can select easier and also use the paint bucket tool easier. There we go. And then the hair here is another example. Okay. So now if I go in here and then I use this, I should be able to erase with ease. Boom shakalaka. And then connect this with this. Should be able to select here. Still. I'll just use the paintbrush. It doesn't even need to be 100% neat. I just need to know what the difference is between certain layers is. So just block it out. That's a foot. His sword needs to just be blocked out. Because eventually I get rid of the drawing and change the background color to something else. So I can establish the mood of the sketch. All right, there we go. So here we go. And just turn on the other layers. All right, so this is what we got so far. Not too bad, not too shabby. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we just block out the hair. Doesn't need to be too perfect. Just all right. So now you can easily distinguish between the paper and some of the electricity and stuff. So now we're gonna do the rest of the stuff. So we got the debris left and then some water. Because there's water abilities involved. All right. So with the water, I'm just gonna use. Let me. I'll still use the outlines, I guess. Doesn't hurt because it seems like I don't know. When it comes to my kind of stuff, I like to just have the outlines. So you got the water here. I'm just gonna add just like some difference to the shape, just to make it, feel more viscous, if that makes any sense. Let me change the. All right. And then here as well. Okay. Okay. Here we go. So even the water has a little bit of shading to it, but I'll use color to bring out more of the shape of the water. I think, let me refer to the original line drawing before I go in, and because I think some of the water is supposed to overlap on top of the character. Oh, isn't that a doozy? So you know what? Shit. So how do we tackle this? There's an easy way. I guess I could. We'll just use the color still. So let's go with blue. And on the uppermost layer, I'll just do what I think, uh, like the areas I think where the water is overlapping, and then under, I'll do a separate layer and do something similar. So, because I can definitely see this is water right here. It's not really a big. It's a big deal, but more of an annoyance than anything else. And I just might change certain things then. So as you can see here, it's like a weird cascade thing going on. And the colors on the laptop that I'm looking at, I don't know. It doesn't look like the colors on the tablet. Why that is, I couldn't tell you because other apps don't have that issue. Okay, so you got the cascading water. There's some water under the hilt over here. So I'll categorize that by making the blue a little bit deeper on the bottom layer, just to kind of distinguish the depth of the water. So some water here. And some of his on top of his bald ass head over there. And some here as well. Okay. Well, welcome to anybody who's watching. Appreciate you being around. Appreciate the support. Okay. So I'm gonna categorize these droplets of water as like the water that's up, like over the subject, and then I'm gonna do a whole another layer again. So we already blocked out the character, so I'm gonna do it under this layer. Okay, so right here, and it's gonna be a deeper color. So here we go. So then we're gonna just let the water flow, kind of. If I wasn't so lazy, I will admit that Procreate would probably be the better app to do some of this shit in. But then again, it's like when you're used to something, you're just used to it. I'm just used to this app at this moment. And just the way some things flow, inking is easier than this, in my opinion. Still, like you have to really experiment with the brushes to get it right in Procreate. So too technical for its own good sometimes. Boom, and then I'll just add some extra stuff for effect. There you go. Boom shakalaka. So now we got water. So let's add all the stuff and have a look at what we got. Oh, so this is it. So far, so good. It's not too shabby, if I do say so myself. I just gotta get rid of this water stuff here because now it's out. It's not really what we're using anymore. I'll duplicate this layer and I'm gonna lock it, and then I'm gonna use that to stylize the one. It doesn't need to be stylized now, but I just prefer to tackle it. So I'm just gonna add some lighter color to the top, to where I perceive the top of it, because that's where the light's gonna hit, and it gives it the shine, and how you create those light strokes will give the impression of how fast the water is moving. If it's just like slowly moving. All right. So you know when you're on rapids, right? The water has like these white streaks. So that's what we do here. Give it the white streaks. Pause. And yeah, so it's starting to come through. I have these. It's still having the effect. I might do the outline eventually, but that'll probably be after. So it kind of has now this more viscous look to it. Then I'm gonna duplicate the layer under and lock it. And I'm gonna focus on shading that more than anything, but not too much. This is a little bit too much. So it kind of like looks like it's scooping. It has a scooping kind of look to it. So it still has that watery look. We'll still add some of the extra stuff, but I want it to look like it's almost in opposition to the water. So there we go. All right. I'll add some shade to the sides of it just to get this water, some light to it, some tint. And there we go. Not too shabby, not perfect. I'll definitely have to do like the outline over it to finish it off and give it that look. But before I do that, let's do the debris. So with the debris, we're just gonna. The storms don't seem to be overlapping her much, but then that's also because we're not looking at the original this thing. Okay. Okay, so the stones. No, this. There's no stones overlapping, so we're okay. But I'll eventually do stones that overlap. For the meantime, let's just do like a basic brown color. I already know there's like textures and stuff. I'll add that. Doing stones is maybe the easiest thing to illustrate because you just need to know, like, you just need to create planes and edges and stuff, which is not too difficult. All right. All right. Boom. All right. Right now, it looks like a whole bunch of turds are following her. You don't want that. I don't want that. So we're gonna first lock this layer. No. Oh shit. Duplicate the layer. I ended up deleting it by accident. All right, and then we're going to use. Let's make sure everything's selected first, because if I do that and it's not selected, it won't. So we're gonna use the. We'll create another layer on top. Use the gradient, the radial gradient, and boom. Then we're going to multiply it, decrease a little bit of the brightness, unselect. Then we're going to merge it down with the copy layer. Now if it's blocked, then if we've locked the layer, then that means we can only affect it. So then we're gonna create a dark portion of the stones, like so. So it makes it so that like there's like faces to the stone. You feel me? So there we go. So every portion. Well, funny enough, we could undo that because technically speaking, it's the electricity and stuff is here. So let's say that does. We don't want that to be the light source, do we? Because there's electricity up there. So let's make sure that we follow the light source. It's up. It's coming from down there. So shit. Just make sure that the upper part. There's more focus on the upper part being light. Okay. Boom. There's nothing wrong with that. Just randomly turd in the turd. It's not going to be as telling as before, but create another layer. And this is darker. Add some extra planes so it doesn't have too much of that turdy look anymore. Okay. Okay. Boom. Lighten it up however you want. It might be a little bit too much on the brightness on my end, but hey, so you can just keep playing around with the brightness and till you find what you like. So use some grays in there just to use another brush. Let's add a brush that has some texture to it or something. And just kind of add these little things to it to give it some extra texture. Decrease the opacity. There you go. All right, so now we've blocked out all of that. We can do away with the background that we had and create a new background. Let's use a bluish color, not too blue, right? Oh shit, not too blue. All right, and then you know what? Let's define the water right now. We'll use a purplish color instead, so that it doesn't clash with the blue too much. All right, so we can still wait for the water to be finished later because we have the elements down. You know what we're doing. We can get straight to painting the characters and focus on the water afterwards. Okay, so we can start with the old man first. So with this old man, all right, let's create a new layer. Or we could duplicate the layer that we already have to make it easy. Block it in and use a light brush. His skin color, I'm gonna make like a more bronzish color. Just kind of color him in. Find out where he is and just color his side in. Let's use a harder brush. Let's use the pen. Let's block him in. Try and get him in as best as you can. All right. We'll get rid of any abnormalities after we're satisfied with how he looks. All right. So just kind of block him in. There's other ways to do this, but this is how I want to do it. Okay, boom. So for the most part, he's all good. Nice and colored. Select. And then we're gonna, on the layer above it, we're gonna use let's use the linear tool. And just establish like nice little gradient. Blending, multiply. Let's decrease the opacity quite a bit and merge down. We know the light is coming from her. We've blocked out his layer. You can duplicate it to be on the safe side. I'm not going to, so I'm going to use the light brush and you choose a lighter color slightly. Kind of just lighten the places that face her ever so slightly, and then darken the places away from her again. So the back of the head, all that. And then look at the planes of his body and shade accordingly. So anywhere that dips in, a line that represents a dip, use a nice little soft brush and right along it, you just create some brush strokes. And you consider also the full shape of the part of the body that we're looking at. So that's the arm, darker then. So behind the ear as well. The neck. And the shape of the head. The shape of the arm. Alright. Now consider the light. We kind of just shade in. And look at the color of this. This is a nice bright yellow. You can add some of that to the highlight to give it the effect of the light also having an effect on the character. There we go. So then you feel more of the intensity of the light. Good, good, good. So we look at choose a nice shadow color. Let's add some reds to this because it's too monochromatic. Deepen the color. So behind the hair, I'm just gonna create a cast shadow there. Create a cast shadow here. And darken that again. Create another cast shadow. You can use harder shadows if you want by using a hard brush to get more of that comic booky feel, depending on what kind of feel you're looking for. The cheekbone is right about here, so you're gonna lighten that up just a little bit, and then lighten right over where the eye is, and then give a nice little highlight over here for the bald ass head, and then one over here. And the ear itself, because it's facing there. Boom. Top of the shoulder, but it's a little too harsh with the highlight. Choose a lighter color. All right. This is not finished at all. This is just like us establishing a color base, or like just coming up with an idea of how the shading is. And for example, we still got to contour the face. Like over here is going to have some depth to it a little bit. We still need to deepen this a little bit too. And then inside of the scar, there's a dip in the scar, so you're going to create shadows here as well. And where the scar comes out, then you start lightening in there as well. So you just basically establish textures and the depth of the character. And eventually, when you're satisfied with the color profile, then you can move on. And you come back and add details. Okay, bet. So the deltoid, let's shape it. You gotta remember it's a delt. It's a separate set of muscles from the rest of the arm, and you got your triceps. Boom. And then you just keep shaping the muscle. Okay, boom. It's not too bad, not too shabby. We just keep doing this until we like how it looks. And the fingers over here, make sure you add some shading to that because behind the hand is going to be darker than this side. Yeah, where there's dips here. If you're confused about the shape, make sure you have a nice reference. All right. So I'm also going to make sure I add a nice little cast at the back of a different color just to complement it and then make it feel a little different. So I'll use blue. I used blue earlier on. So we'll create a nice little blue cast, like a little rim light type thing to help contrast the character and give it a little extra depth. There we go. We can change that color later if we feel like it. All right, bet. Because of the water, it's gonna help give a nice little effect. So we turn on those layers. It's gonna have an extra kind of effect. So make sure that where the water cascades over his arm, we add some blue as well. The water is gonna catch some of the electricity as well. So it's gonna make for some great colors. And then we'll determine the background. So we're still moving forward with this. We're still going. So we'll also make sure we establish what the color of his katana is, and then this needs to be fixed up. But I think I'm gonna call it quits for the night on live session. It's been 1 hour, 34 minutes. Thank you for anybody who tuned in, even if you didn't spend too much time. So this is what we have so far. I'll probably continue on another one. I just wanted to test out and see how this would go. You can leave thoughts. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much if you tuned in, and have a blessed day. Thank you.